How's it going, everyone? I just completed my first playthrough of Scarlet Nexus yesterday. I played as Yuito, and I have some very, very positive things to say about the game. Now, I need to go through the Kasane route as well, which I'm probably going to start later today. You really do have to play both routes because there's a lot of scenes that tie the story together, but I really enjoyed the Yuito route. And most people even are telling me that the Kasane route is better, so I gotta jump back into it. But I want to talk a little bit about it because I think this game is absolutely terrific. I think at this point it's my number 3 game of the year behind Ratchet & Clank and Resident Evil. And from the standpoint of content, Scarlet Nexus has quite a bit more content, given that you have 2 roughly 18 to 20 hour campaigns, maybe a little bit longer if you do decide to do the side content. But really enjoyed the game, and the standout, of course, I think to many people was the combat system, and I'll talk a little bit about that first. Yes, the combat system is awesome. While there isn't a lot of variety in the enemy types, which has been a common complaint about the game, the combat system itself is a really, really well thought out combat system where you have psychokinesis, and then you also have a sword if you play as Yuito, or you have throwing knives if you do play as Kasane, but balancing between actual hack and slash gameplay and then using the psychokinesis abilities with the right trigger, that is a very, very interesting way to do the gameplay, and they did a really good job with it. And on top of that, you have the SAS system where you can link with your party members, and you have different abilities that you'll get on top of that, whether it be engulfing your sword in flame as Yuito, or you can add electrokinesis. All this stuff adds a lot to the gameplay, a nice layer to the gameplay as well. And you have easy, normal, and hard difficulty options, and the game is actually relatively challenging, especially if you do put it on the hard difficulty. But overall, the game's combat system just makes it a blast to play. I really, really enjoyed it, and I didn't find it getting all too repetitive because they gradually and continually introduce new things, whether it be different mechanics, whether it be you upgrading your abilities and getting new abilities. And how you upgrade the actual SAS abilities is that you have a bonding system with every character, and as you increase that bond level, you get new abilities, so it actually makes the bonding a little bit more enjoyable if that's not exactly your cup of tea, but I thought that fleshed out the characters as well, so that was awesome. And there are some unfortunate things about the game. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of redundant enemy types. The enemies that are actually there, they put a lot of effort into those, but there's just not a lot of variety, and a lot of it does end up being the same. Okay, bash their armor, then they get weakened, then you can battle them, and you kind of figure it out, but there's enough variety where it didn't get too stale. And again, I think the combat system is so good from a fundamental standpoint that it makes the game really enjoyable to play. If they do a follow-up and they can flesh out the experience a little bit more, add variety in the enemies, also add variety in some of the locales, because some of that becomes a lot of, you know, go down a tunnel, which it's not the worst thing in the world, for definitely not, but if they can add a little bit of variety, I think that would do the game pretty good. If they do a follow-up, which there were some things that were left open at the end of the game, and there is a lot of lore to this game, and they can expand the world and universe to Scarlet Nexus easily. And let's talk about that. The story, I thought, was really solid. Now, again, I do have to go through and play the game again to really get the full perspective of it, but I enjoyed the Yuito story. A little bit jarring at times because, again, you do have to play through both routes, so you really have to do that. Like, if you're trying to play this game only once, I don't think you're gonna get the ideal experience from the story, but I can speak more on that when I do beat both campaigns, but that's been the general consensus. But a lot of mystery, a lot of plot twists, some friendship saves the day moments, but if you guys are familiar with anime, I think you guys are gonna know what you're getting into. Like, I saw a lot of people complaining about the characters, and it's the generic anime tropes. Like, that's what it is. I mean, you can't get that mad over it. I mean, the game was promoted as an anime JRPG, and I thought the characters were all relatively enjoyable to go through, and also their growth throughout the game, especially through those bonding sequences, really gives you an idea of every character. The main characters themselves, Yuito is just your typical, you know, male main character that you see in every shonen anime. He's a pretty good lead. I mean, it's not the craziest thing, but he's a pretty good lead, and the bonding episodes on his side of the story arc I thought were relatively well done. Kasane is more of the chill, calm, collected type, and if you really want to get all the characters fleshed out, again, you do have to go through both routes. The ending itself I thought was very well done. And again, they do leave some things open where if they did want to do another game, I think they could do it. They can explore a lot of areas of Scarlet Nexus, and I think they've established such a deep world that I think it would be unfortunate if this goes without, you know, a second title, whether it be whatever they want to do, a direct follow-up or something else, because they can do a lot, and they've crafted a universe that they can expand relatively easily. But again, the game is seemingly not doing the best from a commercial standpoint. Again, it's relatively early on. We still have a long ways to go before we see actual sales numbers. You can harp on the marketing aspects of the game being centered around the Xbox version of the game. I'm sure they had stricken a deal with Microsoft to do that. So hopefully they do get some financial backing through that, and then hopefully the game is relatively successful. Just to give you guys an idea, I believe the Steam launch of the game had a peak like 16,000 players, and I want to say that's like half of Nier Replicant, something like that. I believe the player base was at half of Nier Replicant, so that's not the best in the world, especially because Nier Replicant's a remake, but it is of a pretty popular IP at this point. Nier is a pretty popular IP, so hopefully they do expand the universe a little bit more. If you are a fan of JRPGs, I would say go and give this a buy. The only drawback is, and I've seen this mentioned quite a bit, there is a ton of dialogue. Like, if you're not into that, there is an obscene amount of dialogue, but again, they've crafted a universe and a world here with a lot of depth to it, and you need that level of dialogue. And the one unfortunate thing is it's a lot of still images. It's not a lot of moving cutscenes and things like that. Because of the level of dialogue, I can understand why they went this route. I'm sure they had, you know, a limited budget to work with, and if you wanted to animate everything, that would have been a massive undertaking. But yeah, it is a lot of still moving images, character profiles with mouths movings, everything like that. So that's not the best thing for a lot of people, but if you've played visual novels, that's going to be something you completely understand. And then also, there are some cutscenes, and that captures some of the more flashy moments of the game as well. So that's quite nice. Again, this is more of a first impression. I guess it would be a little bit more than first impression, given that I did beat the game on one playthrough, but again, there's a reason why they have two separate playthroughs, and a lot of people, again, have mentioned that the Kasane playthrough is quite a bit better than the Yuito playthrough, but I enjoyed the Yuito playthrough quite a bit. If you had to only play it once, and I get some people have time constraints and they want to get to other games or whatever the case may be, probably go the Kasane route based on what I heard. But again, if you are trying to play through the game both times, that's how you're going to get the best experience out of it. So let me know if you guys picked up Scarlet Nexus, what your guys' thoughts are. This is just a first impression type of video. I usually don't do videos like this, but wanted to give my overall thoughts because this was a game that I have been looking forward to since the beginning of the year, and I want to see more JRPG IPs established, and I wanted to get the word out about the game if you guys have been on the fence. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.